My name's Arran. I've been a mental health nurse for over 5 years now. I thought I had a really secure job, but then I had a very serious work incident that happened 3 years ago, which changed my life forever. But luckily I found property. So I'm going to share that journey now with you, and you can see the wins and the losses that I've had throughout. I bought this property when I was 22, lived in it for about 2 years, and then I was involved in a very serious incident at work, which almost took my life away. And I actually wasn't able to work for a bit because I was unwell. Most people think when you work for the NHS as a mental health nurse that you're protected and you know, everything's okay and they'll look after you. But I only got sick pay for 2 months at full pay. I was left with this massive house, all these bills, I had to kind of just figure it out. So I actually ended up renting this place out, moved back in with my parents, and then shortly after moved to Australia. Looking back now from the situation that I had to move so quick, otherwise I was going to sink a ton of money into this place just to keep it going if I was to live here. And at the time, obviously, everything had going on, I didn't need the added stress. I thought I had the best job in the world, and that one day just changed my whole perspective. Now, I came back from Australia, turned it to an Airbnb, and I'm quite fortunate in that way. This is now making so much money, but it's not always as easy as it looks. Like, the incident which kind of forced me into the situation has now left me with PTSD, depression, and anxiety. So this is my house in Preston. This is the first house I ever bought. The last guest, that one booking that made me financially free, actually ended up being a 16-month direct booking, which just checked out last month. I had a 2-week break period in between of getting the house ready, and then I got another booking for 16 weeks, which is currently in now. This house was actually bought for 175,000, and I recently got it valued at 250. Now, I could only get a mortgage for 110,000 pounds, and I was lucky enough to have the money there to put 60,000 pounds down through being smart with my money from the age of 16. Because I put down such a big deposit, I've then flipped it from a residential to a buy-to-let SA mortgage. I pulled out over 80,000 pounds worth of cash. I've made over 50,000 pounds worth of cash over the last 16 months. And I got a booking in again for another 4 months, which are going to extend for another year, which is actually going to make more money than the last one by £500 extra a month. All my properties are all completely full with contractors. Now, it's different companies now. I do direct marketing, I do direct outreach with flyers, emails, WhatsApp chats, Facebook. This room used to be the living room, but the kitchen's so big and massive. Like, this is now like a full downstairs bedroom. When they come direct, so I locked them in for a year on a verbal contract. It used to be that I could do up to just short of 6 months, and I get away with doing a license agreement. But now with the new regulation, the laws changing, they now start classing them as ASTs, and now there's now like fines you can get for doing that. So now what this one is this is like, so every month, a week before they're due to pay, they sign a new contract with me. I still keep their IDs, I still keep the deposits. It's just a month contract again for the next month, so like the 12th to the 12th. I actually manage from buy-to-lets in Scotland. So we've had the Renters' Rights Act. It's pretty similar laws and stuff in there. I actually have a tenant in Scotland who I'm in the process of evicting, and they left last week, thank God. And the courts of that backlogged. It's took best part of a year to get them out, and because they just asked for this other bit of evidence and then this little bit and this little bit, and it's like, then you have to wait for her, and then even then, like, it just goes on and on and on. But eventually now it's got to the point where she was going to get served. So she's actually left, which is fantastic for me. But, you know, she's over 12 grand in rent arrears. It's a big hit. And that's why I think also like a lot of landlords now are moving towards the company let. So I'm always looking for houses in the areas that I know. That this one got valued at 270,000. I know across the road was 265,000, and mine's 250. Now the one around the corner just went up for 180,000. So I'm gonna go view this one now. I know it's a landlord is in a rush to sell. He said the top value on this area is 220, but mine's just been valued at 250 grand. It was actually valued at 280 originally, but I wanted a fast move, so I took the 250. And I know that across the road from me, which is literally 5 houses that way, sold maybe 3 years ago for 262. But he thinks the top end on this is 250. But he said they'll accept an offer, so can't complain. I really struggled in school. I honestly, I think I have every excuse in the book to not succeed. And I think that just drove me even more. A lot of people who are entrepreneurs and do succeed are dyslexic, have ADHD, intellectual issues from a younger age where people are doubting them, and, you know, they're looked at very differently. And then it's constantly like a battle when you're younger, like trying to figure out, oh, why is this? Like, and then you then grow up as an adult trying to constantly prove them wrong. I've got dyslexia, ADHD, I've got now PTSD, anxiety, depression, I've got short-term memory loss. You would, if someone's seen me on paper, they would not think that I'm going to be a successful individual. We should have been in this house today and I should have had the keys for this with the documentary, so I do apologise. But it actually got down valued by £30,000. The estate agent actually lost the keys for this house when the valuation was due to be done. So I met the valuer here. Then when I got the revalue done, it was supposed to be the same person who went out, and it wasn't. And because I wasn't here, I was actually dealing with an eviction for a landlord of mine in Scotland. I missed it. And because I missed that, and it was a new person, they didn't know the plan, they didn't know what I was doing. But I put in the appeal, I put all my plans in, and it will get overturned, and it's fine. But it just delays things by 2 weeks to maybe 3 weeks. I don't know what I'm using the property for in the end, just yet. But like the case, it could be contractor accommodation again. So this is currently a 3-bed, 2.5 bath property. This is one of the nicest areas of Preston. The house is in this area selling for 550,000 plus. So I actually bought this for 185. It needed everything still, like it still needs a rewire and everything else. And it was valued then at 320,000. In my mind, I'm like, well, when I do all I'm doing to it, and bear in mind it's a 3-bed, 2.5 bath now, I'm gonna make it into a 5-bedroom with an extension on the back and 4.5 bathrooms with downstairs living. That's a £400,000 house. And there's no way anyone could argue otherwise with that. So this is currently a 3-bed, 1-bath property. I bought this for £200,000. Now, I actually tried to buy this when I first joined Samuel Leeds, and it was on for 240, and I offered the guy 180. Which is a pretty cheeky offer. And I've just been hitting him for over a year, to be honest. So I offered him the 200, and a year and a bit later, he took it. So the main house here, you can see, is absolutely huge, and the bedrooms are so bloody big. And yeah, so this one will actually be quite easily another 400k property. But for the purpose of being optimistic, I've actually put down on my plans for 350. We're in my other property now, which is currently being staged in Chorley. Now, I got the keys to this one last week. This is one that I'm actually trying to document more so on my Instagram story to share the process, because there's a lot of wins and there's a lot of losses in this game, and nobody seems to show the failures and the losses, but I'm happy to share them. This is going to be a contractor accommodation now. So we're going to now make £2,000 a month on this one. So you'll start noticing that in a lot of my properties, I try and tie in a lot of black, because I think like black is very easy to come by as a colour, and especially in furnishings. And I like to buy stuff secondhand on Marketplace because it just makes it so much cheaper. So a big thing to do when you're in your properties is always to check everything, because that will impale someone. It's very, very sharp. Now, I have liability insurance, and that's fine, but I do not want to use it. So they're getting cut off and changed. This is going to be the twin room. So there's going to be 2 nice big double beds. Most contractors will not stay in the same room. And it's not because they won't stay in the same room. It's mainly because they're 30-year-old adults and you're trying to ask them to stay in a single bed, which is very unrealistic. Hence why there's going to be 2 nice big doubles. People also ask me all the time, so I run Preston Inner Circle through Samuel Leeds. Now there is thousands of inner circles around the UK, and they say to us all the time, how do you know it's going to work? How do you know this is going to work? Like this area and this area. And you just got to take a chance on yourself. So the first property I got in Chorley, this is another one, not this one. That property is getting over £15,000, that booking is. I got that direct. So that's only 3.5 grand for me. But that was a booking that came in. Now that just shows why this works and why people need to just take chances on themselves, because if you don't take the opportunity and you don't take the chance, you'll never get the reward. I was a mental health nurse for many years, and I still do practice. I still got my registration, but like I've helped thousands of people better their lives, get back into big paying jobs, talking like 200k plus some of my clients were on, and they had, you know, psychotic episodes where they were then unwell and needed some support from me. Now, I have all the tools, I have all the templates, I have all the workbooks which help them get back to where they were at. If I have all that access and I've helped thousands of people to do this themselves, there's no reason why I can't do this for myself. And I think that's where a lot of people in healthcare fail at the minute, is because we're so good at telling people what to do, but none of them do it. And that's where I'm not like that. So I will be a millionaire next year. And it's guaranteed, because also, like, I go to therapy now. I spend £1,000 a month on myself personally, not like going out and eating, buying nice clothes and whatnot, but just to be better. The academy is great. I would not be here if it wasn't for the academy, because that's where I learned all my information from. But it's like people don't want to invest in themselves, and that's what you find more and more these days. It's like You know, you'll go and buy a £200 t-shirt to look good on a night out, but you won't spend £200 on a gym membership for David Lloyd. And that's where you see the difference between millionaires and non-millionaires. They understand the benefit of investing in yourself. That's like the academy. You need to invest in yourself, get the information and put it to use. And also have the mentorship and the social group around you to back you. And then to also say, yeah, that's fucking mint. Yeah, that's class, keep going. Like, back you up. I did some charity work recently for someone very close to me, which was a very good family friend who sadly took their own life. And it just showed to me that people look the most amazing on the surface. You could have all the support around you, but sometimes it's not enough. So we need to check up on each other a lot more. We need to be kinder to each other, we need to be more empathetic. So my message is simple, and this is what I'm going to try and share by building my social media presence, is to raise awareness, to check in on people. The ones who look like they've got it all figured out, got it all together, probably need you the most. And as I grow my property portfolio, I want to be able to do more charity work, give more money away, and work a bit more closely with charities, specifically suicide prevention and suicide awareness charities, because I feel like it's a big issue in the UK, which a lot of us are a bit unknown to. So if by me being, posting every day and posting every week kind of brings that level of awareness to other people, just for that one person, if everyone else finds it cringe, but somebody else gets a bit of a message from it, then that's worth it to me at the end of the day, because I don't want another family to go through what I have seen, because it's hard enough. So it's just not needed. There's enough support out there for everyone. We just need to be better.